Hey guys, welcome to It's a Bronx Story.
A podcast by two lifelong Yankee fans about all things Yankees.
All right, so on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the Rays series and the Blue Jays series. The Yankees won 5 out of 6. A lot of positives to talk about, not a whole lot of negatives, like kind of this whole season. Almost everything has been going right for this team. It's been so fun to watch. We'll talk about the things we noticed from these series and kind of just the team as a whole right now. And then across the MLB, it's going to be a lot of injury talk. There's been a lot of key players that have gone down, like Machado, Ozzy Albies, Walker Bueller, and a few more big names. So that's gonna be like our MLB portion is just gonna talk about some of those big injuries and what it means for those
Mm-hmm.
teams. But yeah, so we'll kick it off with the Rays series. They came to New York this time. So in Tampa, we played a 4 game set. We split that,
Mm-hmm.
and they came to New York. And what are some of the things that you noticed from this
So,
series?
so just to start this off, the Rays were coming in 9 games back behind us,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of for we have a tough stretch coming up. So we face the Rays, Toronto, the Rays again, and then we're going to play the Astros. So this is kind of a tough stretch for the Yankees right now. And I going into it, I figured just go 500, right?
Yeah.
Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to, lose series. Obviously, you want to win series, but don't avoid a sweep at all costs because that's devastating. Because the Rays were coming in 9 games back. If they sweep us, they're 6 games. That's not like that. It's not a little bit. That's why the Yankees have this cushion. That's why you feel good, but it's like it's not the best to be swept, and now you're only 6 games up on the Rays. That's
Yeah.
not impossible. So if you just win at least one, that would just bring the lead to just 8 games, which is still kind of hard to do. So yeah, that was kind of my expectations coming into this series, and boy, did they rise above them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And real quick, while I'm talking, Jatinder, I think your mic is your headphones and not your Yeti. If you just want to check that in Zoom. But anyway, so yeah, like Jatinder said, this is kind of like the tone setter for the next stretch of games that we have coming up, and for all the people that are saying, "Oh, the Yankees can't beat good teams," which going into this, the Yankees already had like the best record against teams above 500, and for the Astros fans that are saying it, they've literally played, I think, like 14 or 15 games against teams over 500, and they're like 8-7, and the Yankees have played well over 20 games now against teams over 500 and they're like 15-7 or they have a really good record, so they've
So
proven
the
they can beat.
Yankees are 20-8 against teams above 500, so that's 28 games, and
Mm-hmm.
the Astros are 8-7.
Yeah,
So yeah, you
it's
can't really talk.
yeah, and we'll prove it to the well, I'm hoping we prove it to them when we play them in Houston. If we can sweep them in Houston, then like that'll just be the best thing
Mm-hmm.
ever. But it's been
Mm-hmm.
it's been a really good stretch, and this series was really no different. In game one,
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Cole came in and just. I mean, last year he had a few blowups against the Astros. So far this year, both game or not the Astros, sorry, the Rays.
The
Both
Rays.
games he's pitched this
Mm-hmm.
year have been good.
Mm-hmm.
Like he gave
Yeah.
up, I want to say like somewhere between 1 and 3 runs in his first start, but it was he had like 10 strikeouts and it really wasn't a bad start at all. This game, no
Mm-hmm.
runs, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk, 5 hits, 6 innings pitched, and
Yeah.
and then of course Wandy, Clay, and Mike King, like they came in and just did their job,
Mm-hmm.
shut them down,
Yeah.
uh, and the
Yeah.
Yankees
I
won
mean,
this one two
Kluber was
nothing.
also matching him though. This was a tough
Yeah.
matchup. What I think the Rays scare me more than the Blue Jays, even with all the Rays injuries, just
Mm-hmm.
because their pitchers are so good. They're missing, Baz who just came back. They're missing Glass now. He's not coming back because of Tommy John. Their rotation is still stacked.
Yeah.
And that's what scares me is that, they have a really good rotation, but the Yankees won without a home run. So
Yeah.
they that's kind of a knock on the Yankees. It's like, well, They only win with home runs. It's like,
And
well,
they've
no, they don't.
Yeah, and
Also,
they're just proving that this season. I know I saw a stat the Yankees have either the most wins or the I think it's the best record in games where they don't hit a home run. Out of any team in the league,
hmm
they've won the most games or they have the best record in games that they don't hit a home
hmm
run. So like
yeah.
they're just proving it to be false that they need to hit home runs to
hmm
win.
It seems like the Yankees on all facets are doing well, but what's really sparked their run is their pitching. How many times do we outline a series and we're saying, "Oh yeah, Cole is gonna go, Monty's gonna go, Tyone,
Hmm.
Sevy, Cortez, who's our
Yeah.
ace right now." It's like every time we say it, we're like, "Okay, we have a good chance because of the guys on the hill."
Yeah,
So it's not our hitting. Our hitting
yeah.
has been awesome. It's been the best, but that's not why we're going on this amazing stretch. It's because we have pitchers that gives you a chance to win no matter what. Even if you're getting shut out, you
Yeah.
have a chance because these guys are matching them.
Yeah, and like what the Yankees are doing right now is it's not like just a team that's hot. Like
Mm-hmm.
there have been the Yankees that are tied for fourth or fifth best start like ever through this amount of games. So like they're not just like a good team. They're like right now they're a historically good team, and that's
Yeah.
because they have the best team ERA in the league. They have the most home runs, and the last time I checked, they were ninth in batting average, second or third in slugging, second in OPS, first in WRC plus.
Mm-hmm.
Like their offense is a top three offense, and they have the best pitching in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you have
Yeah.
and their defense has been good. So
Mm-hmm.
literally every side of the ball, they are a top team, and that's going to produce a very good record,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what exactly what we're seeing right now.
Yeah. I don't even look at batting average that much, but
Exactly, but
it's like it's Rizzo's the best
yeah,
220 hitter in baseball, I
yeah,
think.
and like
Just because.
everyone knows batting average is not the strong suit of this Yankees team.
Mm-hmm.
Like it hasn't been with
Mm-hmm.
the way they've been building it, but they're
Mm-hmm.
still top 10.
Yeah.
Like in the past,
Yep.
their batting average was probably much lower than that because they would
Mm-hmm.
have
And their
maybe two
situational
people.
hitting was terrible.
Yeah. And they would have maybe two people close to 300. But like
Mm-hmm.
it's just it's just crazy to see how
Mm-hmm.
like every game if it's like within 5 runs, I'm like the Yankees can win this game. And if it's tied, I'm like the Yankees are going to win this game. Like the Yankees are actually
Mm-hmm.
winning right now
Yeah.
because it like yesterday against the Blue Jays, that's we'll get to that, and but like 9 out of 10 times, if it's a close game, I'm just like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
the Yankees will find a way to win this somehow, and that's kind of just what this whole Rays series was. We didn't blow them out once. We won by a total of 4 runs. Like our run differential this series was +4, but we still swept them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
The Yankees record in one-run games is 14-5. The Blue Jays are also very good. They had that stretch at the beginning where they were just winning
mm-hmm,
every single one-run game
mm-hmm,
because Romano was saving every single game.
yep,
But the Yankees in close games have a good record, and
yeah,
it's because of their bullpen. And once they give them a chance for the Yankees offense to do something.
yeah. This team is like what's so good about this team is their bullpen could be like a five and fly bullpen, which is kind
Mm-hmm.
of what certain teams have just based their teams off of. But like their
Mm-hmm.
starters, all of them can go 7 innings any given night. So like it's keeping our
Mm-hmm.
bullpen fresh, and we don't need to rely on 4 or 5 guys being perfect every night.
Mm-hmm. It seems like Boone has given more a longer leash to our starters, and it kind of seems like it was more by necessity, just because our bullpen did take a hit. So he
Yeah.
was like, "Well, I don't want to get to the." It's still wrong to say like you don't want the underbelly of the Yankees bullpen because the Yankees bull even their underbelly is still really good.
Yeah.
But they were kind of stretched thin there when they had all those injuries. We're getting back a couple guys, Loizaga and Chapman. It seems like they're about to be activated, so that's
Mhm.
good news. But something I wanted to just point out in this game, the Yankees scored off a IKF single. It was so Stanton scored, but he should not. And like maybe this is my selective memory, but I don't remember a bad send by Luis Rojas this year. That was a bad send. If it was a throw that was online,
Yeah.
Stanton would have been out.
And there was
But
I
he
there was one other one that I remember this. I don't remember who was running, but I was
mhm,
like it was a good throw and he was out and I was like you probably shouldn't have
mhm,
sent him there given who was throwing the ball, but like yeah, it's overall has been
mhm.
pretty good.
But that's still a really good thing. Like
Yeah.
it's not that many like instances that I could call back and be like that was just a bad like I second guess
Yeah.
his decision.
Yeah, I
So
will.
that ended up working because the outfielder or Rosarani, I believe,
Yeah,
overthrew it to home, and then Glaber scored
yeah. And
the
Glaber's
second
been a
run.
great heads up base runner this year, and
Hmm.
I will
Yeah.
never forget when Judge was sent in the wild card game last year and he was thrown out, and it was just like
Hmm.
the dumbest send I've ever
Yeah.
seen. It's like you can't do that in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and Luis Rojas hasn't done anything like
Yeah.
that this year. Like there's been a couple that have been like
Hmm.
risky sends, but like I don't
Hmm.
remember many where they were just out by a mile.
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. It's kind of crazy. Is that I remember in the off season, Boone was talking about his interview. I was like, yeah, he did really well on the interview. I was like, how does a third base coach really like show his
Would
intelligence?
you have
You know,
sent
it's like
Judge in this clip? No.
yeah,
Good.
exactly. It's like, can you do how many windmills can you do? Can you do like 50 without like tearing your labrum? Great interview. It's like it's crazy. But he's been really good. He seems like
Yeah.
he's not a good manager, but he's a great third base coach. And then kind of on the opposite end, Phil Nevin got his opportunity. He goes from third base to manager now with
Yeah.
the Angels, which is
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Hopefully he'll be a better manager. But yeah, so the
Yeah.
Yankees won game one. Game two was a they ended up taking it 4-3. We had Nestor versus Shane McClanahan, which was
Mm-hmm.
a really good matchup. Two of like arguably
Mm-hmm.
the two best pitchers in the American League this year.
Yeah.
Nestor went 5.1, one earned run. He like didn't have his best stuff this game. He walked three people, which was uncharacteristic for him. Only struck
Mm-hmm.
out four, but this is what an ace does, and just
Mm-hmm.
battles through it and limits the damage. Only gave up one run. Went toe to toe with
Mm-hmm.
McClanahan,
Mm-hmm.
which
He
McClanahan
got
four runs were scored when
mm-hmm.
McClanahan was pitching, but only one was earned because who was some
Margot, I
yeah,
believe.
Margot dropped a ball in the outfield with
Mhm.
against Donaldson. That was to lead off the inning, but then with two outs, the Yankees scored three more runs. So
Off a Higgy 3-run home run.
yeah,
Yeah,
so
but
none of those would have scored if that was
yeah,
caught in theory.
but the Yankees just taking advantage of
Yep,
mistakes. You get an extra out. That's what you have to
and they
do
never
when
did
you
that
against a
last year.
really good yeah against a
Yeah,
really good pitcher like McClanahan. You have to take advantage of that. You got an extra out. Higgy took advantage. And
yeah,
that just shows that the Rays pitching is just really good.
yeah.
Um,
And at that point in the game, it was only 1-0 off of a Judge solo home run in the first inning, which was
in the
awesome.
first.
But yeah, so then Higgy makes it 4-0, and at that point, you're almost just like the Rays' offense is not good enough for to surmount
Mhm.
a comeback against this bullpen. And
Yeah.
I mean, we were pretty much right. Miguel Castro gave us a little scare. He gave up two
Hmm.
runs because I mean Miguel
Hmm.
Castro is almost like Chad Green at this point, where he either just shuts them down or he gets
Hmm.
himself into trouble and gives up runs. There's like
Yeah.
no in between. But he's the only one that gave up runs. Peralta was shut down for almost two innings. Litke got
Yeah.
the final out to save further damage from Castro. He got his job done. Then Clay Holmes comes in for the save.
Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, I mean Clay Holmes is just when he comes in the game. If we're winning, I'm like, all right, might as well turn the TV off now. If I only
He's
cared about
just
if the
that
Yankees win or
automatic.
lose, I would just turn off the TV because. But I love watching Clay Holmes pitch, so I don't. But it's
Mhm.
just, I mean, his pitches are like they're
Nasty.
just
How do you hit them?
unhittable.
Yeah.
He throws 100-mile-per-hour sinkers that break 12 inches. It literally makes no sense.
Hmm.
But yeah, so they
Yeah,
went four
I don't
three.
know how anyone could even hit him.
Yeah, I mean, no one
his crazy
is.
stat where people can't. Yeah, you can't barrel him up. He's on now a 30. Well, I guess not in this game, but he's now on a 30 inning scoreless streak. Only
Yeah.
time he's been scored upon is opening day, and
Yeah.
since then, no one has done
And I
anything.
remember opening
Crazy.
day, they didn't even hit him hard. They just got some lucky hits
Yeah.
through holes that scored. And
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, it's just it's ridiculous. But then for game three, Sevy was supposed to start, and then right before the game, Sevy went onto the COVID IL because he had a fever. Obviously, it turns out he didn't
Before
have.
that, though, Ryan, the Rays also had their starter
Yeah,
go on the IL as
yeah,
well. So it was supposed to be Sevy versus can't pronounce his name. What's his name? Drew
Rasmussen.
Rasmussen. Yeah. So he went on the IL for hamstring injuries, I believe. So the Yankees got a lucky break. They knew they were going to do a bullpen day.
Yeah,
Sevy day of got COVID, or he had COVID like symptoms, right?
yeah,
He
yep.
was under the weather,
Hmm.
got tested, ended up being negative, but he did go on the COVID IL, wasn't going to make this start.
Yeah. So Clark Schmidt. I mean, this is what is just so like unbelievable about this team is like Clark Schmidt is like the starter, but we've been saying all season Clark Schmidt should be a starter. So like I wasn't even worried
Mm-hmm.
that we had to do a bullpen game. So I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not worried that Clark Schmidt like he can come in and give us at least 3 innings and just of good
Mm-hmm.
baseball. So
Yeah.
like the other 7 inning or 6 innings is like we got to piece that together, and we called up Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Weber for this game. But Clark Schmidt, 3 innings
Mm-hmm.
pitched, only gave up 1 hit, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, shut down the Rays. But then Ryan Weber came in,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, I don't know if anyone had really any idea what to expect from this because
No.
he's just been kind of like a journeyman, hasn't had too much time in the major
Mm-hmm.
leagues. But this is how this season goes. He comes in, pitches 3 and 2/3 innings, gave up 1 run, but
Mm-hmm.
only 1 run.
Yeah.
And it's just, of course, like, of
And
course
it was
that happens.
a home run to
Yeah.
Mejia,
Yeah.
who seemed he's had a couple of balls that in this series, looked like they could have been gone. He just finally got a hold of one
Yeah.
this game and took him deep. But it was just a solo home run. We're down 1-0. You still feel good with our offense coming
Yeah.
up, but the Rays pitching, give them credit. Like I told you, they have a really good pitching staff.
Yeah.
This is a bullpen day for them as well, and they're piecing it together, going 0 for 0, and then
Yeah. I'm never going to go into a Rays series expecting to blow them out very often. That's
mm-mm,
why the last series was so
mm-mm.
surprising. Like the first game, we just blew them out of the water. But yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
Weber gave up 1 run. Marinaccio and King came in, did their thing. And then as far as the Yankees offense, in the 6th inning, I believe it was Rizzo had a single, I believe. Yeah, Rizzo got
yeah.
an RBI single to tie the
Mm-hmm,
game up. And then nothing else really happened until the 9th inning. And Rizzo comes up again and hits the walk-off home run. And
mm-hmm.
like, of course, the Yankees have, I'm pretty sure the Yankees also have the most walk-off wins. It They have the most of like
It feels like
everything.
it. Yeah, and that's why I say Rizzo's the best 220 hitter in baseball.
Yeah.
He's just so clutch. He's hitting home runs. He it seems like almost every situation that we need a base hit to tie it or like bring us close,
Hmm.
Rizzo's there to do the job.
Yeah, and his OPS is back over 800. It dipped below for a little
Mm-hmm.
bit because of he had
Mm-hmm.
a bad May, but he seems to be rebounding
Yeah,
nicely.
yeah.
So the
And
Yankees
Judge
sweep.
and Rizzo both had stolen bases this game, so
Oh
they're
yeah, they
showing
did.
off the speed. So
Yeah,
they're fast.
yeah. Rizzo with his 6th stolen base of the year. Judge has 4. But yeah, so the Yankees sweep the Rays. That's the perfect way to start this stretch. So now they're going
Yeah.
into Toronto. Toronto looked really hot before this series. I think they cooled down a
Mm-hmm.
little bit right beforehand,
So
but
they lost to the Orioles, I believe,
yes, they did.
just before the
Yep.
Yankees played them.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's tough, but their offense has rebounded really well from the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I mean, the Yankees come in the first game and just absolutely
Mhm.
destroy them. Like Monty, it was
Yeah,
Monty
it's
versus Ross
similar to
Stripling.
the Rays series.
Yeah, the first
Similar to
race
the Rays
series.
series. It's I said yeah. Well, I was saying like because
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
Yankees came up 10 games. It's like
yeah,
just prevent a sweep. You
yeah.
know, just even if you lose the series, prevent the sweep because they're 10 games back at this point to start the game to start game one. If
Hmm.
you prevent a sweep, you're just at worst 9 games up.
Yep.
Here, they clearly got the job done though. Game one was a masterpiece. It's like if the Blue Jays were thinking about starting their comeback and winning the division, this felt like a
Gut
gut
punch.
punch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was Monty versus Ross Stripling. So right off the bat, that's the
Mm-hmm.
advantage to us. Monty goes 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. Both runs were off
Mm-hmm.
a home run, weren't they? Nope. Never.
I
Never mind. They
believe,
were not. Only one of them was off a home run. I think it was Kirk. I think Kirk hit a home run in the second
yeah,
inning, sixth inning.
Kirk hit a home
Yep.
run. Yeah, I thought. Yeah.
And I think the other RBI was Moreno. He had both the other RBIs this game. Okay, whatever. But yeah, Monty had a good game. Benuelos gave up another run in one and a third. Castro and Litke came in and did
Mm-hmm.
their jobs. But our offense this game was just relentless. We had home runs from
Yeah.
Stanton, a grand slam from Rizzo, a 2 run home run from Gallo, which Gallo is slowly but surely getting his numbers back up there. He's
Mm-hmm.
turning it around.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he's creeping up back towards the 200 mark. He's getting closer to a
Mm-hmm.
700 OPS, which you expect much higher than a 700 from Gallo, but from what we've been getting, we'll take anything at this point. Um, but
Yep.
yeah, the Yankees go out like they win 12-3 this game. Uh, Higgy
I
got
think everyone had a hit except for Higgy.
how did Higgy get an RBI without a hit? Sack fly probably.
Probably got a sac fly or a ground out.
Yeah, no, he didn't have a sack fly. Yeah, IKF has 10 steals. Wow, that's more than I thought.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 12-3. Rizzo with the grand slam. Glaber had 2 doubles. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's just fun as a Yankees fan right now. And then going into
Yep.
game two, we already won the first game, so now it's like if we win one of the last two, it's a win. Like you take winning
Mm-hmm.
this series in Toronto any day of the week. If I had to pencil in a
Mm-hmm.
loss for this series, it would have been this one because it was Manoa
Yeah.
versus Tyone. Manoa has been
Mm-hmm.
lights out this year, especially against the
I think
Yankees.
coming in, he had like a 1.52 ERA or
Yeah,
something close to that.
yeah,
Um,
and I mean, like the Yankees come in, they score 4 runs in 5 innings off of Manoa. It's like
Manoa's only human,
this
but the Yankees are
team.
not. It just seems like
Yeah,
they're.
this team is something else. Like I have never seen the Yankees be this dominant. I mean, obviously because the
Mm-hmm.
'98 team is the last team to have a record this good, and we were 1 years old. But like
Yeah. You don't remember
every
that?
day, every single game, I'm like, all right, we have a good chance at winning this game,
Yeah.
and I'm not worried unless we're getting absolutely destroyed that we
Mm-hmm.
have a chance to win the game. It's just so
So
fun.
what's crazy though is that the first 2 games, if you're into betting, the Yankees were heavy underdogs. Well, not heavy, but they were underdogs. And I was like, this is crazy. I'm taking those bets every single day. So I made some money on the Yankees. But it's crazy. It's that the Yankees were underdogs in this series.
Yeah.
And I did not believe that they were
Yeah.
underdogs. Just
Like
look at the team.
against
Manoa,
Manoa,
he's been
sure.
so great. He's
Yeah.
been so great. And the Yankees were able to they didn't destroy him. They kind of like worked his pitch count, was able to like get to him later, but that's exactly what you need to do against
Yeah.
good pitchers.
I mean,
And
4 runs against Manoa is basically destroying him. Like they
yeah,
raised his ERA from 1.5 to 2 in one game.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's just been so fun. No, and again, no home runs.
And the
We did
Yankee,
all of that without any home runs.
yeah, and just also I want to point out the Yankees, the Blue Jays vaunted offense. You know, they're so great. To start the season, it was like they're unstoppable.
Hmm.
They've been shut out 4 times. The Yankees have done it 3 times.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. I mean, the
Like,
Yankees have just completely shut down the Blue Jays this year. They swept them
hmm
last time they played them in Toronto. They split the first
hmm
series. Like the second series of the year that the Yankees played was against the Blue Jays, and they split a 4 game set. I think
hmm
it's looking like for the rest of
they
the
could have
year,
won.
it
Yeah,
might just be domination. Like we have a
yeah.
better, our worst record in the American League East is against the Orioles. We're doing the opposite. Like you're supposed to bulk up on the Orioles, but we're bulking up on every other team.
Yeah, that's insane. That's why I feel like the Rays are big. Well, I guess the Orioles are our biggest challengers,
Yeah.
right? We can't, but
Like,
the Rays is just that I feel like the Yankees pitchers could exploit the Blue Jays, holes. We'll
yeah.
we'll talk about Game 3, and then you'll be like,
Yeah.
oh well, the Yankees haven't figured out anything. But it seems like the Yankees are able to, in a good
Yeah.
matchup, they could
And
get these guys out.
in
They're
the
not scared of
playoffs,
their offense.
yeah, and like in the playoffs, when you're gonna use your best pitchers pretty much every game,
hmm
I have
hmm
no worry that we're just gonna um keep it going. Oh, and by the way, the Yankees game's on right now. Rizzo just hit another home run.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah. So, oh, and so would the Yankees end up winning this game 4-0 off of that? The 4 runs off Manoa, Tyone, King, and Clay shut down the Blue Jays. Not a
hmm
single run, only 5 hits, 12 strikeouts
hmm
combined between the three. It's Clay Holmes has a .28 ERA on the season. That
You
is
need a microscope.
unbelievable. I've
That's crazy.
never, ever, ever seen anything like this. Like,
Yeah.
even Mariano Rivera at his best was not this dominant.
hmm
And that's saying
Yeah.
the best reliever ever
hmm
was not as dominant as Clay Holmes is this year. And we got him
That's
for
crazy.
very little. Like what were the Pirates doing? He has turned in to the
I.
best reliever in baseball. What were they doing? It makes no
That's why I'm
sense.
saying the
Matt
Yankees
Blake
need
is
to
the king.
trade. They need to keep trading with the Pirates. Trade Andujar to the Pirates, and then turn him into the next Clay Holmes.
Just get just keep getting relievers. Like Matt Blake is a genius. I don't But
Yeah.
yeah, so the Yankees win 4-0. They win the series. Their series the Yankees
Actually, Ryan,
Mhm. Yeah.
I was just thinking the only dominant stretch I could think of is another guy on the Yankees roster,
Zach
Zach
Britton.
Britton,
Yeah,
as a reliever. Yeah,
that's the only
his
reliever that I can think of that's even close.
yeah
And he had like a .6 ERA that season, I think. So double what
yeah
Clay Holmes' ERA is right now.
yeah that's
And
insane.
I can't. I think it was in the Rays series that they said they're gonna put Chapman back at closer when he's back. I I don't understand that.
So I don't think he said he will for sure be the close. He said like they'll be picking their matchups, and it won't be like it'll be like kind of a committee, but Chapman will
Yeah,
have the edge on saves.
yeah, it's
So
ridiculous.
it depends. Like I think, I mean, I don't if Holmes comes in the ninth, I feel very good about him. Chapman, like we need to have a safety net behind
Yeah,
him, like just
yeah,
in case. You never know what you're gonna get.
yeah,
But I guess it could work out if you're like, okay, it's the seventh inning and you need Clay Holmes in this situation. It's the eighth
yeah,
inning.
hmm
I understand that, but yeah.
yeah. But it's Clay Holmes, man. And then now the Yankees series record on the season after winning this series is 17-2-2. They've split 2 4 game sets. That
That is
is
crazy.
I can't comprehend that. They've only lost 2 series, and one was against the Orioles. and the other was against the White Sox. Like
Mm-hmm.
this season just I feel like I'm dreaming. This is like the Yankees are
Did we
obviously
mention that the Yankees record was above 750 or at 750? At this, like
no,
that's
we haven't
insane.
yet. Like
That's insane.
they and we'll like obviously now we're on to game 3. The Yankees should have been 50-16 after this, which I I just can't. The
Mhm.
Yankees were up 8-3, and then Miguel Castro comes in and ruins my hopes and dreams and gives up a grand slam, and then gives two of those runs to Sevy.
so so Sebi wasn't even supposed to start this game because he was supposed to start Friday against the Rays, but
Mm-hmm.
he went on the COVID IL, didn't really have COVID, so it
Yep.
was supposed to be Cole. Either way, it's like pick your poison. I mean, Cole is our number five if you look at his ERA. But so maybe the Blue Jays, got unlucky. But it's crazy. It's like I would put either or in this matchup, and Sevi looked really good. If you look
Mm-hmm.
at his final line, you're like, oh, 5 runs. Oof. It was because
Yeah.
he came in one more extra inning than he needed to,
Yeah.
and Miguel Castro just didn't get the job done. Like Ryan said,
Yeah.
he crushed my hopes and dreams.
It was one of those starts, Miguel. Like I said, Miguel Castro either comes in and shuts them down, or he does the complete opposite.
Hmm.
And he did the complete. If he doesn't give up a grand slam there and they get out of this inning, I don't think they hit a 3-run home run the next inning and take the lead. It's just
Hmm.
it was a domino effect. Um,
Hmm.
so I mean they lose. They end up losing 10-9, but Rizzo came in pinch hit a home run in the eighth, to make it 9-10. Which like the Yankees
Hmm.
definitely battled. They had first and third with 2 outs in the ninth inning. Um,
Hmm.
I mean they were going
Second
against.
and thard because Hicks, I
Oh
think,
yeah, I
stole
mean
it. So
he
it was
stole it.
if they.
Yeah, yeah, it, like it sucks to lose, but you can accept losses like this every now and again when you win literally
Mhm.
75% of your games and you've already
Yeah.
won the series in Toronto.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah. We took care of business. All I
yeah,
wanted was to win a game. That's it. If we lost 2 out of 3, I was okay with it because we built up such a large lead. It's just, maintaining status quo, right? You just don't want to give up momentum. Like
yeah.
here, the Blue Jays have to feel demoralized, even though they won this game and they could feel really good about this win.
Hmm.
They can't come out of that series feeling really good. I wouldn't
Yeah, no.
feel really good thinking I could catch the Yankees
I mean, Blue Jays
if I'm the
fans
Blue
on
Jays.
Twitter were getting super excited after they won the last game because they came back. Like,
Hmm.
they'd had a nice win. Like that's a must win
Hmm.
for them. Like they cannot afford to get swept at home and go down 13
Yeah,
games in the standings. So like
yeah.
that was a huge win for them, but they still
Hmm.
lost a series and lost another game in the standings. So
Hmm. Yeah.
it's kind of it's wishy-washy, but I just it's so fun to watch. And Marinaccio came in and pitched well. Like he's turned it around. Um,
Yeah.
He was like the first time he was up, we were like he's not quite ready yet because he got blown up a few
Hmm.
times, but now he's pitching pretty well in most of the games that he's in. Um,
Yeah.
and Glaber hit another home run this game. Higgy hit a home run. Miguel or
Hmm.
Marwin hit a home run. I said earlier Rizzo hit a home run. Judge had an RBI double. Glaber also had a double. So like the offense was there. The bullpen let us
Hmm.
down for one of the first times all year.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but we still, like I said, still in the series. And right now, Glaber is hitting 267 with an 838 OPS, and is also one of the top defensive second basemen in baseball. Like
He's back
he's
to his
back.
breakout year.
Yeah.
He's he,
This is
I mean, credit
arguably
to him and the hitting coach. He's been really good this year.
this is arguably the best Glaber has ever been. Because an 838
Yeah,
OPS right
yep.
now is a lot more
Hmm.
meaningful than it was in 2019. And his defense is much
Hmm.
better than it was then. So
Yeah,
like
I still think the worst thing to ever happen to Glaber was him hitting all those home runs because it seemed like he shifted his mentality and he became all or
Yeah,
nothing. And we didn't need him to be all or
and
nothing.
playing shortstop.
Yeah. Well, he was playing second base at that point, and he was playing really good
Yeah.
defense at second base, which is why I thought he could play
Hmm.
shortstop end to that experiment. But there was no guarantee when we did our rankings for top second basemen. We had him. I think we left him off our list,
Either that
if
or
I
we like put him at
remember
10 or
correctly,
something like that.
at the very bottom,
Yeah.
because it came with the asterisk. It's like I think he's going to do better, but you
Hmm.
can't predict it or you can't like say it outright because like he needs to work on some things, and he started the year miserably.
Yeah. We put him at 9.
What a run the Yankees have been! What a run the Yankees have been on, though. A
Yeah.
historic run. I was telling Ryan, it feels like we're on March to October in MLB The Show on like the easiest level
Yeah.
because the Yankees just keep on winning. It seems like you just drop in and it's like, okay, complete the sweep to set your team on fire. You know, we have great pitching performances. It's like, oh, come in and try to finish off this shutout, and
Yeah.
it's like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And now we have another series against the Rays. It's going to be another
Hmm.
good series, probably another low scoring one, but we only have 3
Hmm.
minutes left until our time is up. So we got to kind of power through some of these injuries that we wanted to talk about. So,
Yeah,
what would you say
I
are
think
the big ones that have happened
the
recently?
big ones, I think Walker Bueller for the Dodgers going down. He's not going to come back until September, and if there's any kind of setback, he might be done for the year.
And
I
he's
don't
probably
see
not
how
going
they'll
to be
get
able
him
to
back.
be stretched out all the way
Exactly.
very
So
quickly.
that's a huge loss for them. The Dodgers also have really good pitching. Like
Yeah.
they have,
They're second
Tyler
in ERA.
Anderson.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, they are behind the Yankees. But it's still a big blow to lose Walker Bueller.
Yeah.
So that sucks for them.
Then
Ozzy Albies for the Braves
mhm.
is also a big one. The Braves were on that big winning streak. I think they had 14 games before. Ironically, they lost it against the Cubs, who were going on a 10-game losing streak, if you can
Yeah.
believe that. So,
Yeah, and then Machado went down for the Padres. I don't think we know quite how
mhm,
severe it is yet, but it looked like a pretty bad ankle injury. And if he's out for a
yeah.
while, they don't have Tatis. And
Hmm.
then Machado. Oh, Tatis also just got a setback in his. It didn't look
Hmm.
as good as they wanted. And then Machado has been
Yeah.
the MVP of the National League so far. So losing him
Hmm.
is horrible.
Yeah, and they're trying to fight the Dodgers. They're
Yeah,
trying to keep pace
they're
with
in
the
first right
Dodgers,
now.
and yeah. But the Dodgers are right there, and
Yeah,
they can't afford to lose Machado. And then another third baseman that's out, disappointing, Anthony Rendon. He hasn't been
yeah,
very good. Him and Strasburg, who's also on the IL now.
yep.
Ironically, they both signed the same
Again.
exact contract, and both probably one of the worst contracts in baseball. Both of them.
Yeah, Rendon's played like 55 games across 3 seasons for the Angels. It's not
That's
what you
terrible.
wanted when they signed that contract, but those are the big ones. Unfortunately, we're running low on time today. We had a lot of fun to talk about the Yankees, so that was the good
Mm-hmm.
part. As always, if you enjoyed the episode, leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. If you're watching on YouTube, we'd love it if you could subscribe for the future content. Leave a comment if you enjoyed. And as always, reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram at the Bronx Story. And as always, for the third time that I've said, I think the last 30 seconds, let's go Yanks.
Let's go Yankees. And Rizzo keep on hitting home runs. Let's play ball.
Nice. See you guys.
See ya.